Hello and welcome, and here today I am doing the second of this three-part series on these B&M exclusive Gunbots. And going back on the last video, couple of things I want to sort of like housekeeping about the last video. First thing first, you probably noticed that the footage was a bit sort of fuzzy in a few places, and the reason for that was I had a bit of crap on the lens of my webcam that I didn't notice and I didn't clean off, so that was the reason for that. Also, we've had quite a bit of comments, some interesting comments on the last video. I mean, there's a bit of a debate going on in the comments section about are these bots, third party or are they KO? As regards to that, I'm referring to them as KO bots because they're quite obviously made in China to, questionable build quality, and then they're being, sold in discount stores in the UK. So the same as you would KO bots, even though they're not based on any existing transformer mold, official transformer mold that I know of. So yeah, I'm referring to KOs, but again, third parties, I mean, they are unique bots designed and made in China. So what does that make them? And I've also had some comments from a new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. A little guy called Balushus, I think that's how you pronounce your username. He's been looking for somebody to do reviews on these B&M Gunbots because he's bought a couple himself and wanted to see if anybody done a review on them, but nobody has. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing them. He's told me that there's some undersized versions of these designs that actually form a combiner that you can get from Sir Toys called Trans Blaster. I've actually been onto Sir Toys and had a look at this, and it looks interesting. Admittedly, I've only got 3 of the molds here to show you. I don't know whether B&M Home Stores is going to do the other 2 molds, so you can actually do the combiner. And if you do look on these bots, they have got the combiner pegs on them. So whether or not you can actually make a combiner out of them, I don't know. But the one on Sir Toys is done in some really bright, gaudy, fluorescent colours, and it just looks horrendous. And these are in a slightly more sensible colour scheme. But anyway, so thanks to Mr. Baulushus for subscribing. And yeah, let's get on with this review. So today I've got the second bot of the trio, and this is Gunbot Alien Battle K02 Tiger Demon. And here he is. Now, before we get into the review, just a quick look at the packaging. He comes in the green box, and obviously it's got the artwork on the front, and it's got the $14.99 B&M price sticker on it, even though you can get them for $9.99 if you go into store. So you look on the side, there's a picture of him, and it's got his name there, and on the back, same again, it's got his name, some pictures of the gun mode, the robot mode, blah blah blah. Then you go into the packaging. It's got 8 darts. Also comes with the safety goggles and a target and instructions. So that's that. Now, getting on to the robot. He also comes with a gun. So let's just do that first. Yes, he can hold the gun. Yeah, he can hold the gun. So yeah. So yeah, this guy, Tiger Demon. Now, personally, out of all 3 molds, this guy is possibly the biggest disappointment out of the 3, and I will go into the reasons why. First of all, looking at the bot mode, because it comes in robot mode, his proportions. As you can probably see, he's got very short, stumpy legs, quite long arms, large shoulders. It doesn't really look that great in robot mode. I mean, let's have a quick sort of 360. He's got most of the gun as a backpack, but yeah, he doesn't look that great, especially when you compare him to the other 2. Now, he does have a lot of die cast. Basically, all these dark grey pieces on his legs are die cast, so and it does give him a lot of weight lower down, which in some ways is a good thing. Articulation, you've got the shoulders go around like that. They're kind of on a bit of a butterfly joint there. You've got 90° at the elbow, which is on a kind of a soft ratchet. No twist on the bicep or the fists. The head, now he does have a very cool head sculpt. There you go. Now I really like that head sculpt. To me, it reminds me of G1 Emirate Zaron or Exaron from the G1 Marvel G1 comics. He hasn't got that slotted mouth plate or the castellated sort of brow, but it just reminds me of his head sculpt. I don't know why, it just does. So it looks like Emirate Zaron. So even though this isn't, yeah. So I just thought I'd make a note of that. You look at the upper torso, he's got this bit here, so he's got a bit of asymmetrical design going on in his chest. So yeah, so carrying on with the articulation, nothing at the waist. Now, this is where this guy falls down in terms of articulation, his legs. Now, he's got metal pieces for his thighs, and legs go out that far, right? So that's not too bad. But if you go to the side, that's as far forward as the leg goes, and that's as far forward as much as it goes back. So that's as much motion as you've got sort of forwards and back. And the knees, that's all you've got on the knees, that little bit there. So very restricted articulation on the legs. It's got a little bit of a toe bend there, but very disappointing articulation. He's got odd proportions, limited articulation on the legs, and the reason his articulation is limited on the legs is because of the design on the side here. It's got these very large rounded bits which form the sides, the hips. Now the pivot point is not in the middle. It's sort of slightly above where it should be, and as a result of that, when you move the thigh, it keeps jamming up on the surrounding plastic of the around the joint, around the socket. So it very limits the articulation on the legs, and if that's a design flaw, to be honest. I mean, if they had put a little bit more care and attention in designing the thighs, he could have had A, longer legs, and 2, he could have had a bit more articulation on the legs, which is very disappointing. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't really like this guy. He also comes up short because of this. So my usual size comparison is Leader Megs, and as you can see, he's shorter than a Leader class figure. And so I've got another size comparison here. I've got Ultra class Onslaught, Universe Onslaught, and he's about the same size. When you go from the foot, from his feet to his head, he's roughly about the same size as an Ultra class, which is an obsolete size class in Transformer land. So yeah, he's kind of short. Quite heavy though, because he's got this die cast in his legs. But that's about as much as I can say about the robot mode. Now, getting into transformation, this guy's transformation is quite simple when compared to the others. So first of all, put the arms up. Then you can bring that thing out. You've got this piece on the back. Bring the legs out a bit, and you slide that back. You can then fold the arms in, get onto the front, open this, fold away the head, push that down, and do that. Then we get to the legs. Now the legs are a little fiddly. You've got this metal piece on the outside of the leg, which unclips from the inside of the plastic insert on the inside of the leg, and then it's on a rotational joint, so you rotate it down, and then you get this piece here, which then plugs into here, and then you fold that bit down. So let's show that again. So you unclip the metal piece, fold it down, fold that in, and then line that up and plug it in back there. Then with these leg pieces, you just angle them slightly, and then they plug in, they slot in under here, and then clip together. And then you just slide that thing back, and there we have the gun mode. And I think they're going for a sniper aesthetic on this because he's got a big scope on the top. He's got these pieces under here. You can plug the gun. There's a peg port in there and there, so you can plug that into there and give him an extra scope up top. Now, slight problem with this thing here slides around all over the place. I don't know whether it's just my copy, but it just slides all over the place. It's, you know, it's very loose. It doesn't lock in that position or that position. It kind of locks in, well, sort of jams up there. That doesn't lock in. Very unfortunate. But apart from that, the gun mode's not too bad looking, but when you look at it, compare it with the other two, it's not quite as good. Now, good thing I can say about the gun mode, because these pieces form the butt of the gun, and as you can see, it's, you know, it's got some ergonomic contours on it. It does, you know, you can grip it quite well. It does feel good in the hand, and it's quite comfortable to hold. And because of the weight, it's the gun is nicely weighted, so that's another good thing. And another interesting thing about is the cocking mechanism. The others had a, you know, the back of the gun just slides back. This one has got this little ring here. Now I thought this was a targeting reticule, but it's not. It's actually the loading mechanism. So you pull that back, and then when you fire, that shoots forward. So that then is your loading mechanism. Now, obviously, I'm comparing them to the Dyna Blaster. Just get the dart out of there. I'm only using this dart. So you load it in, bring it back, and then shoot it. Like the other gun, it's got a reasonable amount of power, but it's totally safe to use indoors. And oh, missed. And so you know, you can quite easily shoot yourself with it. It's quite safe to use indoors. So yeah, it's all right. Compared to the other two blasters, this one wasn't quite as powerful as the other two, but still not as strong as this guy. So yeah, I do think this loading mechanism is quite interesting, but the fact that that doesn't lock in is a bit of a pain, to be honest. He's also got visible fist syndrome in gun mode here. It's a shame they didn't slide up in there even more. So yeah, the gun mode, it's all right, but it's not quite as good. It has got these flaming decals down here, which are visible in the robot mode. It's got some nice, you know, stripes and stickers on it and markings, but they've all got that. So yeah, so that then is my review of the second of these B&M Home Stores Gunbots, K02 Tiger Demon. He's okay, but part of the reason why I'm doing these reviews is quite simply, if you go into B&M Home Stores and you see them and you're tempted to buy one of these figures, which one do you get? And that's part of the reason why I'm doing these reviews. I'm giving you some pointers as to the plus and the minus points on them. And personally, I can't recommend this guy because, you know, he's got more things, more disappointing things about him than the others. He's, you know, he's the shortest. He's got, you know, his aesthetic's not very good. He's got loose bits in the gun mode. There's not really much you can say about it that's positive. So he's yeah, I would not recommend getting this guy. Get one of the other two. And with that, that is my review today of the second of these Gunbots. The next one will be posting up again on, was it Wednesday the 9th? So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I've been TFR Wilderness, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.